The sandy-haired son of Hollywood lost his faith in all that's good. Closed the curtain, unplugged the clock, hung his clothes on the shower rod, but he never got undressed, and no, he never made a mess. It's funny how life turns out, the odds of faith in the face of doubt. Camera one closes in, the soundtrack starts, the scene begins. You're playing you now, you're playing you now, you're playing you now, you're playing you now, you're playing you now. Take a bow, take a bow.
Good morning. Welcome back to the All-American Savage Show podcast. I am your host, John Burke, with my beautiful bearded husband, Josh, here in the studio.
Hey, buddy.
The show is live. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from across the nation, whether you're at home with the kids, you're on your way to work, you're at work, you're deployed overseas, or you're met with rounds of Let's Go Biden as you are, or Let's Go Brandon as you're in Kentucky visiting the storm damage. Not very well received. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. How do I sound? Do I sound all right, chat? Do I sound good? Is my microphone good? Make sure it sounds good. It feels like a little weird.
I don't know. It sounds good to me.
It sounds good to you? Okay. All right. Let's do this. All good. All right. Awesome. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I love that song. It's Camera One by Josh Joplin. He's a very talented singer. I saw it from that show Scrubs.
Great name, too.
It is. I like it. Camera One.
Oh, his name.
Okay. We'll
Yeah,
leave that in. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? So I'm not even gonna lie about it. I've had a lady friend in town. I took a few days off from work. The podcast hasn't been here, and yeah, I'm just pursuing my own happiness for a little bit. I'm sure you can understand that. And if you can't, fuck off. Don't really care. Focusing on me a little bit, but appreciate you standing by. The podcast that we did Monday will be uploaded today, where we talked about masculinity. I think that we went down some rabbit holes on that one, but
Got deep.
It did, but I liked it though. I liked the fact that we were all over the place.
Yeah.
It was a good podcast. I felt like we really discussed some in-depth things. So a big thank you to everybody that tuned in, and thank you for sharing the show. We really appreciate that. To every person out there that hits share, that tells your friends, that helps expose the show and our voices even more to a larger audience. We are so incredibly grateful for that. And before we get started, this episode is brought to you by shellshockcbd.com. Now, I cannot post things on my Instagram because I get posts pulled down. Now, even though hemp is legal, I get posts removed because apparently they say it violates their terms of services, which it does not. So I have to be very careful with what I post now. But what I can do on the podcast is talk about it because they can't censor me here. But we have just launched the hemp tea. You can see it right here. These are $20 a pop, or you can get 3 different flavors for $50-something. It's being facilitated right now. Yeah. Our flavors are orange cinnamon. We have lavender chamomile and mint. Now, the lavender chamomile, it will put you to sleep. These taste great. Now, we test every product. The potency of the taste is not so overbearing where it becomes just too much, and it's not so soft where you can barely taste it. That's one thing I don't like about a lot of teas, is that when you drink some kinds of tea, there's not, like, the flavor isn't very strong. I don't like that. I want to have a good flavor where I know I'm drinking that. The teas are a perfect balance. 25 milligrams of CBD per tea bag. So, look, you got somebody in your life that's stressed the hell out, give them a nice tea bag. It'll help them out. Just tea bag them left and right. It'll chill their mood. You know, it's a nice thing to drink right before bed or even during the day. If you're stressed out, you feel like the politics are getting to you, just put a tea bag in and you're good to go. Just tea bag the hell out of yourself and, yeah, you'll just relax. And then another thing that we've launched that I cannot post about is the Delta 8 vape cartridges. So these are the individual cartridges, and the battery as well is sold separately. We sell both. So we have the vape cartridges, multiple different flavors, and the battery is rechargeable, correct?
Yes.
The battery is rechargeable. Now we do sell the 1 ml pens.
Yeah.
They are not
They're disposable.
rechargeable. They're disposable. These are rechargeable. The batteries are, but we offer the Delta 8 vape cartridges. These are available on shellshockcbd.com. We have the same flavors as the disposable. This one is Pineapple Express. We have wedding cake. We have
We got 3 hybrids, indica, and a sativa.
Yep.
So
and that is at
we got you covered.
shellshockcbd.com. So check them out. And again, a little carton or a little tin of these teas. It's amazing. It's simplistic. It's, like I said, 25, and it's THC free. You will not pop hot on a drug test taking this. You have our personal guarantee. All products are third-party tested. We post the results on our website. You can see it there. There's a reason why Shell Shock CBD has blown up to the point that it is now, because, again, we are honest, we have integrity, we showcase, and we don't lie to people about how these things actually affect you. And we just have some really great reviews. Actually, before we get started, I want to read this one review that was sent to us. It's good to see stuff like this because it shows people that, and we don't pay people to make these posts either. So this is from William Medley, and he says, I was having issues with my sleep apnea, having 40 to 50 10-second or longer episodes for over a week. Just one dropper of these happy little drops took that down to 4, and I got a great night of sleep. I use the isolate, but have tried previous stateside products with Delta 8 that did not do the job, and these local products were obnoxiously expensive. This is the real deal. I posted it to my Instagram stories. Thank you for that shout out. Thank you for that post, that review. That stuff really helps us out. So, a big thank you to that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with this. Let's get the show going, and we're going to start with This Day in History. This day in history. In a ceremony held in Baghdad on December 15, 2011, the war that began in 2003 with the American-led invasion of Iraq officially comes to an end. Though today was the official end date of the Iraq War, violence continued and in fact worsened over the subsequent years. The withdrawal of American troops had been a priority of President Barack Obama, but by the time he had left office, the United States would again be conducting military operations in Iraq. 5 days after the 9/11 attacks, President George W. Bush announced the War on Terror, an umbrella term for a series of preemptive military strikes meant to reduce the threat terrorism posed on the American homeland. The first such strike was the invasion of Afghanistan in October of 2001, which began a war that continued for 2 decades. This is CNN. No, please. I timed that well. That was like perfectly timed.
That was good.
I was like
Nailed
speeding
it.
through that.
You nailed that like a split hog.
I don't even know what that means. Nailed it like a split hog. Oh my God. So yeah, that I articles like that, it's just like people don't realize, like, they said the war was over. The war was not over. That's the stupidity of it. That was like when Bush was on that aircraft carrier, like, the ground war in Afghanistan or Iraq is over. And I'm sitting there, like, well, then why are we still have people dying? Like, what are you talking about? The war is not over. Yeah. That's what pissed me off about, I remember, I forget who said it. They said, like, the military went to war, America went to the mall. And I'm not faulting America on that. Please don't take this that way. But it was like, unless it directly impacted you, a lot of people didn't care. At first they did because they wanted revenge for 9/11.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of turned into like this thing of where it fizzled out. And naturally so. I mean, it was a 20-year war.
Yeah, after 20 years,
Yeah.
you're like, what's going on?
I'm actually happy we can say that now, that, hey, we're done. It's over. Like, the GWAT is over to an extent.
I mean, there's still some people left over there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's that kind of stuff that pisses me off because there's still people over there.
Yeah.
So, like, the war's over.
Yeah.
But you just picked up everything, left all that military equipment over there.
What was it, like $5 billion? $5 billion worth of
I forget what it was. I know it's a high number.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 80.
Maybe it is. I forget.
Like, it was an insane amount of number.
It was 4 or 5 days ago. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's just like all of a sudden everybody forgets about it. Like,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, thank you. Mission accomplished for USS Lincoln. Thank you, Kyle Rittenhouse on YouTube. Pretty sure that's not him.
He's a big fan.
He's a big fan. Oh, big thank you for that. Yeah, I remember when Bush did that. It was like, mission accomplished. Like, no. Like, talk about like putting the freaking cart before the horse. Like, no. Like, he said that like back in, I think that was 2004 or through 3. That's like when the Iraq War first kicked off. It's like, bro, like, you really blew your load way too early on that one. Yeah. Like, we still got another 19 years of this. What are you talking about? Good Lord. All right. So Josh sent me this article last night, and I find this very funny. Let's just get right into it. Hassan Piker. For those that don't know who Hassan Piker is, he is an open socialist. He did a lot of work for the Young Turks. He's one of the most profiled Twitch streamers there was. He has been banned from Twitch. Join the club. Well, I was suspended, not banned. And we're live on Twitch right now. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitch, it's just the John Burke on Twitch. We really appreciate the follows over there. And what we're going to be doing now, so this kind of spurred a wake-up call for us here. Maybe like a re-wake up, that we are going to relaunch the allamericansavageshow.com website, and we'll be streaming the live feeds or the streams to that platform as well. If we get banned on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, we will always have the stream opping on our website. We'll also be doing articles there.
And Rumble.
And Rumble. Yeah, we got to figure out Rumble.
Yeah.
We got to figure out Rumble.
So I think
I keep
you can
forgetting
stream
about that.
live on Rumble too.
You can. But
Yeah.
but the problem is we use Restream, and Restream streams it to Facebook, all these things at the same time, but Rumble's not on there.
Yeah,
So if
just a
we
matter
stream
of
to
time.
Rumble, we'll either have to set up another camera or we'll figure something out in the future. But that option is there. But we are on Rumble. You can look us up. We're there. So Hassan Piker, known socialist. I don't agree with a lot of what this guy says, but he was banned on Twitch as well as other infamous streamer Vaush. Now, if you don't know the Twitch world, look, Twitch was once Justin.tv, and then it kind of transformed into what is now Twitch. Twitch was originally looked at as gaming, which it heavily is. But there was an emergence of a large political group of people, myself included, that brought politics to Twitch and discussions and debates. And then it blew up this whole thing to where you could go on these various debate panels debating. And Twitch, don't get me wrong, it is a left-leaning platform. But on Twitch, they have never went after me. They've banned me 2 times. One was for a copyright infringement on a song, and they gave me a 24-hour suspension. The second one was a week long when Tommy Vex came over and dropped the N-bomb. It is what it is. I respect their decision. I can't even go against that. They held true to their standard. I respect it, but I kind of wanted them to say, like, hey, John didn't say this. This was a guest. I didn't have time to, like, edit that or stop it, so... But I get it. I understand that. I respect their decisions. Well, I didn't want to call them out. It's like, yeah, you made the right call. I was just hoping they'd show some leniency. So be it. But... And I can't say this word because this word has gotten Hassan Piker and Vaush banned. So again, Twitch politics became very prevalent in the Zoomer era generation and younger millennial generation. It's not just games anymore. Now you can see arts and crafts, you can see politics, you can see podcasts. They did it the right way. They've opened it up to a whole slew of different categories that you can go on Twitch and look at. You can go, and it's not just gaming. Like I said, most people's like, oh, I thought Twitch was just gaming. It's like, it is. There's a lot of it's there. But we've been streaming on Twitch I think I've been streaming on Twitch now since 2018, 2019, I think. We've been on it for a while.
For a while, yeah.
And you can actually support me financially by subscribing on Twitch. And Amazon owns Twitch. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can link your account and subscribe to the channel for free. Or you can sub and pay like $4.99 a month. That's also free if you have Amazon Prime. So that's another way to support us. We really appreciate that. Hassan Piker blew up on Twitch. I remember seeing this. Like when he first started out, he was getting like 50, 100 views. Then he was racking up 20 to 30,000 live viewers, many of which were Zoomer socialists. He was like the name, the face of like, he was like the representation of the little guy. He wanted equality, wants all this stuff. And a lot of people bought into this. And then Hassan was making serious money on Twitch. Like people don't realize that like there are some streamers out there that a lot of people can talk schmack about streamers. I get it. It's a job. It's a form of entertainment. But Hassan was clearing almost $500,000 a month. And so Mr. Open Socialist that talked about fiscal equality and all this stuff went and bought a $3 million mansion in California. And again, you know, people went wild over that, and justifiably so. And again, he was racking up 20 to 30 to 40,000 live viewers per stream, which is insane. He was making so much money. Now, he used a word that was derogatory towards white people. I can't say the word. It's getting people banned left and right. So let's read the article and then we'll get into this. So why Hassan Piker has been banned from Twitch. Prominent streamer Hassan Piker and also Vaush has been banned from Twitch after reportedly violating the platform's code of conduct. If you are not familiar with Piker, alternatively known by his username Hassan Abi, he is a left-wing commentator and former journalist at both the Young Turks and the Huffington Post. He mainly hosts Just Chatting streams on Twitch where he discusses a variety of topics including video games, foreign affairs, political debates, and broader cultural issues. Hassan has also said a lot of ignorant things in the past. One of which is when we went after Dan Crenshaw talking about an honorary Taliban soldier plucked out his eye. Just very disgusting things to say. Oh, yeah. It was to the point where it's like if he got his ass whooped, it was disgusting. Very disgusting. Like over the line. But according to Twitch's own metrics, his channel is the 12th most viewed on the entire website. That's saying a lot. There are, I don't know if there's millions of streamers, but there are a lot of streamers trying to make it big on this platform. So the fact that he's in the top 12 is saying something. You got a lot of live viewers. It is 12th most viewed on the entire website, having been watched nearly 6 million cumulative hours. In terms of engagement, that puts him right between the official Rocket League account and the Blast Premier Counter-Strike esports channel. In other words, he's a very popular figure with a large following. As such, it is quite surprising to learn that he has been banned from the platform, given that he is one of its leading creators. Now, I got to counter that with they banned Dr. Disrespect. Now, if you don't know who Dr. Disrespect is, he is a character on Twitch. He was a character on Twitch. He's funny. He's a character. People take him seriously. He was called the Doc, the two-time world champion, Blockbuster 94, 93, firm handshakes. Like, his branding is amazing. I love watching him. He's funny. People take him seriously. But anyway, Twitch banned him as well. So it's not, and he was one of their, like, he was almost damn near the face of Twitch. Like, people loved the Doc. You either really loved the Doc or you hated him. So when they say that, it's weird they would ban prominent, they've done it in the past. Doc was, I think, one of the first ones that they banned. It's like, you're off the platform. He'd actually went and did a live stream. I forget what, if it was like a Twitch convention, I don't know. But he went into the bathroom and they followed him, which is illegal. You can't do that. He got banned for that. And then there were other things he got suspended for that. And then he finally got banned. He moved over to YouTube. He's killing it on YouTube. Famous streamers like Ninja, who's big in the Fortnite world, he left Twitch. I think he went over to, I forget what it was. They signed him for millions of dollars. Shroud, another big name in there, huge in Counter-Strike. These are professional gamers, by the way. These are not guys that are just like, oh my God, like, they are amazing at these games. They're great at these games, far better than I'll ever be. And these guys are racking up so much money. So when people talk about how, like, gaming is stupid, blah, blah, there are people that are making decent livings gaming on Twitch. It's, whether you like it or not, you have to acknowledge the fact that it exists. It's there and it's real. And people are making good money doing this. So to the moms and dads out there, like, you'll never amount to anything gaming. It's like, you can. There's like two categories of gaming and making it big on Twitch. You're either an entertainer and you're great at entertaining, or you're a pro gamer that you're just so good people want to watch you play, or you're both. Disrespect was both. He wasn't the greatest gamer. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's amazing. But point being, though, is that Twitch banned him and he was pulling them some serious money. He was getting Twitch out there. So as such, it's quite surprising to learn that he's been banned from the platform. This is talk about Hassan. Given that he's one of its leading creators, what they're trying to say here is top earners. Again, Twitch takes a cut of everything that you make. So, however, if you try to get on his page now, you discover that it's completely inaccessible and that his archive streams can no longer be viewed. According to Piker, he's been removed from the Twitch for anti-white racism. Specifically, he has attributed to the ban to his repeated use of the word, I can't say it, in a recent stream. It's a food that you eat. We all know what I'm talking about. Starts with a C. Look, you can't even say the fucking word. You can't say the word.
I like to put it in soup sometimes. I crumble them up.
I put some cheese on it or some butter. You get what I'm saying. It's just a derogatory
There's
term.
restaurants named after it.
Yeah, and
something barrel.
Twitch is cracking down. They are and they are watching very closely who is saying this word. I agree with it, because if you can't say the N word, you shouldn't be able to say the C word.
Well, I feel like there should just be freedom of speech. Like, you could say the N word and not say it in a derogatory sense, but instead of just saying that, it's like you could say any word.
Yeah. That's where we're at in our society, though, because even when Justice Smollett's fake hoax trial, he's telling the prosecutor, don't actually say the word. Like, really? This is how soft our generation's become now. Okay. Like, to even, I understand that words do have effect on people if you allow it to. So if I said the N word, even Tommy saying the N word, it's like, okay, big deal. It's just a word.
It's just a word.
It's just a word. But he didn't use it in the context like that stupid N word or whatever. So
you can go like, what's worse, the word rape or the N word? Like, what's in... Yeah. What word is worse?
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's the intent behind it.
I honestly think, there does have to be terms of services on any platform.
I can understand. But if you're just having a conversation, but if you're like an open racist, like ragging another race, saying how terrible they are, and well, I could probably understand that. But if you're just having an open dialogue with somebody, and you've got to censor your words to make sure that racism doesn't... clearly, we're getting it under control with all the slogans that are on the back of helmets.
Stop hate.
End
racism. It's like you're like trying to squeegee water up a hill. You sound great, but you're stupid.
We've clearly got it under control.
Absolutely. If you really think about it, the displays of racism are not nearly what people want it to be. Because, again, we talked about this prior, that they want to cling to the tattered remnants of these movements that they can no longer be a part of.
I remember back in the 80s watching the KKK walk down the streets of Washington to the Capitol, having a march. Yeah. When was the last time you saw the KKK?
They'd probably get gunned down.
They would get gunned down.
But now you do see some Black Panthers out there. After the whole Rittenhouse thing, you saw Black Panthers armed to the teeth, which is their right to do. Hey, kudos to you. But oh my gosh, they were like, it was weird. But anyway, Vaush, who's also another prominent streamer who claims to be a libertarian socialist, I don't understand how that works.
When they try to mash these things together, it's just
they fool a lot of these younger generation people think they understand. But these streamers, they like Vaush sounds very intelligent. He's very articulate, has a very good vocabulary. He's got this soothing voice. It's just blah, blah, blah. But what he says makes no sense. Yeah,
I'm a sensitive murderer. Does that work?
I'm a pro-life murderer. Yeah, absolutely. What? You're a socialist libertarian? Okay. That makes no sense. Anyway, I had one debate with him, and we didn't agree on a lot, but we kept it respectful, which I appreciated. But Vaush has actually openly called for censorship of free speech. He talks about in his free speech stance that speech needs to be free, but we have to regulate things that bring harm and misinformation to people and eliminate that. It's like, well, then that's not free speech.
Yeah.
Free speech comes with lies, slanders, all these things, but there are ways to arbitrate that in a sense of the legal system. But Vaush also used the term and he got banned. And then he turns around, gets called out for it, and he basically calls people the name he used to get banned. It's like, okay, so then you acknowledge the fact that you're a hypocrite in your stance there. You call for free speech, but then you say you want it censored, you get censored, and now you're against it.
Yeah, if someone said that to you, if they're like, John, you're a such and such, would you be like, oh my God?
I wouldn't care. I've been called that. Dude, I've been called everything under the sun.
Same here.
Yeah.
And it's,
I've been called a terrorist. Like, that's the funny part. It's like, where were you on January 6th, you terrorist? Like, I was here streaming on Twitch.
We called it like a racist.
Oh, yeah. They call us racist. Dude, I've been accused of being a pedophile. Everything under the sun. Nothing bothers me anymore. Like, okay, but the fact is, though, that Twitch is adhering to their terms of services on this one. And I don't take the term that they got banned for seriously. I've been called that. It doesn't bother me. Like, and I think maybe that's because the root of the N-word versus the C-word are not similar. I think the C-word originated from somebody that cracked a whip, and they called him that. I could be wrong on that.
I think that's right.
But then the N-word was in reference to the term of the skin color. And then it delved into other, slanderous things. Neither word.
Yeah, the Southern
good.
Democrats were.
Ooh, they were big with it.
They were rough.
Oh, they were rough. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, they were rough.
They got mad when we took their slaves away.
I know. They did, didn't they?
So let's continue. The epithet used to describe white people, this allegedly violates Twitch's community guidelines in relation to hateful conduct and harassment. If you take a look at the relevant page, you will see that there is a dedicated section on how the use of discriminatory slurs is expressly prohibited. In general, the streaming platform has a list of words that fall under this. Ooh. White. Twitch includes as banned insults and harassment. Wow. Okay, they've updated this. Live stream. I can't read this on the air. It says live streaming service Twitch is banning terms such as, I can't read this, but yeah. Wait, virgin when used as insults. Oh, okay. Fair enough. I was like, well, virgin's not an insult. But if you use it as an insult, I get that. A lot of this, it requires context. But I think from Twitch's stance,
what if we just went straight sign language and didn't use any words at all? Can we do that?
It's still using it. It'd be like writing it and posting it. It's the same thing.
Like, okay.
What's the term for like virgin in sign language? Like, get none. I don't know. But I understand where Twitch is coming from on this, though, because they're not going to have enough moderators to actually go and review every single footage of where somebody uses a word in context or out of context. So I think the easiest term is basically don't use the word at all. And I can support that because, again, both of them are racist. The N-word and the C-word are based in race and slandering of a specific race. I agree with it. Now, according to their terms of services, but as far as like censorship, I kind of just like, it's going down this rabbit hole to where we see like with Facebook, it goes to an extreme. Twitch is going to go the same direction. I think the answer, honestly, is that you essentially strengthen your guidelines on harassing other streamers and things such as that to where it's not allowed. Like what people don't know is like, say, for example, how many people we have watching on Twitch right now? Let me pull up my Twitch page. It's the John Burke on Twitch, by the way. If you want to follow it, I'll spam the link here in a second. But on Twitch, my viewers, here we go. We have currently 170 live viewers on Twitch. Now, when the show ends, I can click the raid command and send these viewers to another channel that is currently streaming. Now, if you're not on Twitch right now, here is the link. Come give us a follow. We really appreciate that. Is this a conservative stream? No, I'm more libertarian. I view it case by case. Some things I'm leftist on, some things I'm right on, some things I'm center. But anyway, I can send those people to a different channel. What Twitch had dealt with and what they still deal with is these negative harassing raids to where you send all these people to hate on another channel. Twitch needs to really crack the whip on that. If they haven't already, good for them if they did. But what they do in the process of ensuring that these rules are enforced is deregulate free speech, meaning open it up, say whatever you want. And the reason I say that is, for example, if there is an open racist on a platform using these racial slurs or whatever the case, I'm just not going to watch it. Like, okay, he's a racist.
I'd rather know who you are.
Yeah, 100%.
Like just the real person. Like,
but
if someone's a racist, then let them be an open racist. So they'd be like, okay, I know to stay away from that guy.
But I think at the same token, though, now that I'm thinking about it, what would that do to the platform in regards to discrimination as far as lawsuits go?
I don't know.
I mean, actually, no, because it's free speech. The only thing you could sue me for is libel or slander or threats.
Yeah.
But using, and please don't get me as if I'm condoning this. I'm not. I'm actually condoning free speech. Because I feel like I said with Facebook, you go down that rabbit hole of, okay, well, you can't say this, can't say that. But then it continues and it goes way off base. And then we just find ourselves in this Orwellian society when it comes to big tech that you really, like, dude, on Facebook right now, I catch so many bans. That's actually a good point. I'm sorry. Yeah. Kretz89 says advertisers would back out. We saw, yeah, good point. That's actually a very good point. We saw that with PewDiePie during the adpocalypse. I think it was 2016. That he had commissioned somebody. I forget what app it was, but you can pay somebody.
Fiverr.
Was it
I remember
Fiverr?
that.
Yeah, and he had those two dudes in Nigeria or whatever do like an anti-Semitic or anti-black thing. And there was an ad on that video. I think it was Johnson & Johnson, something like that. And they basically told YouTube, if you don't fix this, we are pulling our ad money. And then the adpocalypse happened, and they started censoring everything. And these platforms are going to go where the ad money is. And the reason for that is you look at Vine. Y'all remember Vine? Back in the day, like, it was like, do it for the Vine. Everything, like Officer Daniels is on Vine. It was big. Vine went under. They had no ad revenue coming in. And now you got TikTok. They got ad revenue. TikTok became the new Vine.
Yeah, so, TikTok is pretty, I don't know. There's some controversial things on there, I guess.
There is. There definitely is. And
they're a lot more loose, I can tell you that much.
They are. There's a lot of people on that platform that are extremely racist on both sides. I've seen white supremacists on there, and I've seen black supremacists on there, and I've seen trans supremacists on there. There's this one Native American dude, and he is just off the walls. He talks about, like, if you want to combat racism, stop having white babies. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, just disgusting human beings, folks. Disgusting human beings. So, anyway, to go back to yeah, right? Like, wow, that
cuts deep.
It does. Not really. I don't care about people like that. Anyway, so Hassan Piker gets banned. Vaush gets banned. That's big right now. And this is its own community. So I know the majority of my viewers and listeners out there that go beyond Twitch, because we're on Facebook, YouTube, things such as that. That's just a peek into that world. But the good thing about it, though, is it's getting discussions and it's making discussions happen. And that's what we want. We want these conversations. We used to host drunken debates. And it got to the point where shell shock blew up. It was too much. But we would host these roundtable discussions. We tried to keep it cordial and engaging in good conversation and dialogue. We would have transgender people on. We had socialists, communists, capitalists. And you want everybody to come on this panel and discuss their viewpoints. And we had some really good, engaging conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what Twitch was good for. But unfortunately, you're going to have the negative people in there. Hassan Piker was definitely one of them. He trolled a lot of people. I'm guilty of that as well, but I don't think I go to extremes that these people do. Vaush, I don't know about. I don't know if Vaush trolled people, but I never had any beef with Vaush. Hassan, I just don't like. I think he's a horrible, disgusting human being. To say things like plucking, he's a typical Zoomer, or I don't know if he's a millennial or not, but he's the kind of guy that needs to get punched in the face. He's a disgusting individual. Like, if I saw him, I'd probably want to fight him. I don't like him. I do not like him. He's a bad person, a bad human being, unless he's changed. Hopefully he's changed. But, yeah. So that's big in the news. And I agree with Twitch's enforcement of this. And it's not because I hate Vaush, and it's not because I hate Piker. It has nothing to do with that. The fact is that they violated the terms of services, and I'm glad to see Twitch enforcing it when it comes to discrimination towards white people. I like that. That makes me feel like at least there's some balance to the terms of services. But overall, I think that they should just do away with everything. Like, stop censoring it. Let people speak their minds.
Yeah.
But again, the guy did point out in there, he's got a good point. The ad money would dry up. People wouldn't. I mean, I'd run ads. I don't give a fuck. If people would say, like, if there was a racist, it's like, oh, this show is brought to you by Shell Shock CBD. I think people, and that's the reactionary purpose of, like, cancel culture. Is like, oh my God.
You can't, pick and choose what ads are wrapped around your video, right?
No.
It's just, they just roll up.
Twitch picks it, yeah.
Right. So it's not like if it was Shell Shock and you had a commercial and it went on some.
Yeah, but most people don't know that. You're thinking at it logically. Most people don't know that. They would sit there and say, oh my God, this is Shell Shock. Say, for example, Hassan was streaming and he said that word and then they ran a Shell Shock ad right after it. Most people would look at it and say, oh my God, Shell Shock is supporting a racist.
Because I know on YouTube, like if you watch videos on YouTube, so I like to watch golf videos on YouTube, and it'll have commercials, like golf video commercials.
Yeah.
So there's like obviously an algorithm that matches.
Yeah.
Certain commercials.
Oh, they hear your voice. Your phone listens to what you say later. It's been proven. That's why when you're talking about things out loud, you start seeing those ads pop up on your Facebook. They are listening. It's been proven. You can go in there and turn your microphone off, but even then, I still wouldn't trust it. That's why they have directly targeted ads at you, as well as YouTube and other things like recommendations based upon your search history and what you've watched.
John, what's chicks with dicks doing on your phone?
I don't want to talk about that. Anyway, anywho, all right. So let's move on from that. That's the big in the news. All right. Josh probably isn't going to like this, but we got to talk about it. Alan West.
Yeah.
Big no-no. Big fucking no-no. His most recent Instagram post has really made me lose a lot of faith in him. And we've talked about him on the podcast. Josh and I are both in favor of voting for him. Yeah. But if Alan West does not change his course, I will not be voting for him, and this is why. He made a post. It's on his most recent post on Instagram. It's a picture of Alan West. It's on the stream right now if you're watching. And it's a picture of him superimposed behind a warning from Facebook saying, your post goes against our community standards of misinformation that could cause physical harm. And Alan West's comment here is this. He says, Facebook is censoring the speech of a veteran, a black veteran at that. Does that make Facebook racist? ? Black speech matters. #BSM. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. No.
You don't like that?
No. He's playing identity politics. He knows better. He's not stupid.
I thought he was just throwing it back in their face.
No. There's two different ways we can address this. The first one, Facebook is censoring the speech of a veteran. They're not censoring you because you are a veteran. That's a lie. You're trying to play identity politics with your veteran status. You know better. Don't do this. Secondly, a black veteran at that. Does that make Facebook racist? Look, they are not censoring you because you are black. They are censoring you for what you are saying, which goes contrary to the leftist agenda of big tech. When Alan West or anybody participates in this type of of political or racist identity or race identity politics for that, you are moving the goalpost. Attack them for what they're doing, not what you want. This is playing the liberal game. And one of his supporters is like arguing with me in the comments, talking about, well, no, he's actually right here because they say support black voices, all these other things, and he's throwing it back in their face. Like, well, then throw that back in their face. Saying, if you claim to support black voices, why are you censoring mine? I happen to be black. But the reason they are censoring him is they censor Crowder, they censor me, they've censored the Hodge twins, Diamond and Silk, they've censored Chingo Bling, they've censored everyone of every different ethnicity, much less nationality. It has nothing to do with that. Now, are they hypocritical in saying that they're going to censor a black person and then promote Black Voices Matter? Yes, but that's a different issue. What Alan West here is doing is he's trying to hype up the voter base to get them to follow him on other platforms. I understand that. I get that. But do not go down this road. Look, if you listen to this podcast and you work with Colonel Alan West, look, I don't hate the guy. I've met him. I do not agree with this tactic. This is not what America needs. This is not what the GOP needs. This is essentially playing the liberal game, and it's not good. This essentially is muddying the water. That's all it's doing. Call them out for what they're actually doing wrong. Don't make it about freaking your veteran status or the fact that you're black. That's wrong. Don't do that. Now, if it was about that, then absolutely make it about that. If they said, hey, you had a way you could prove they were censoring you because you're black, well, they also censor white people, so that doesn't make any sense. What you're saying is rooted
as he was just trolling them.
I don't think so.
I think it was.
I think it's ridiculous. I think this does not make him look good. Like, I'm looking at this post, and it's like, what are you doing? That makes me lose a lot of faith in him because
I don't know. It's not to me, it's not a game changer. For me, it's not like
bro, I'm telling you, something like this, I feel like if you're going to use your veteran status and then your skin color as a means of combating the left, you're no different than the left. You're doing the same thing.
At some point you got to play their game.
I disagree.
I know.
I think there's
my personal belief is that if they're going to keep moving the goalpost,
right.
So it's like baseball, football, golf, all rolled up in one.
Let me clarify. We can play them at their game by using their standards and throwing it in their face by saying, hey, if black voices matter, why are you silencing mine because I'm black? And it's like, come on, at least they're silencing because you're conservative, you're Republican. That's different.
Yeah.
Now, highlight that and then throw it because it makes it much more effective. Does that make sense? Like you're beating them at their own game by showcasing their hypocrisy versus pretending to be a victim because you're a black veteran that's a conservative. That's not true.
I think this just proves that everybody's going to view things a little bit differently. So this is, I see it, and Facebook is censoring the speech of a veteran, a black veteran at that. Does that mean Facebook is racist?
No. Because
that's his question. So
but if the reason for it was they were censoring because he's black, then yes.
Yeah,
but it's not because he's black. Because look,
I think he's just calling
your
him
post
out.
Goes against. Well, yeah, but there's a more effective way of doing that without sinking to their level. That's the problem. Because here's the thing: if Republicans do this, like leftists do, we have the same thing. That's why I didn't like Turning Point when they talk about freedom and then they talk about like segregating based upon Jew, Gentile, black, white, Hispanic, all these things. All you're doing is segregating within a movement, which is still segregation. Like, why should my views be different than someone that is Jewish or black or white or Hispanic when it comes to freedom? We should have the same kind of views, or at least be in support of the same types of individual liberty that the Constitution says we should have.
Yeah, if you're in America, then freedom is the ultimate goal.
Exactly.
Freedom and
it's like we're trying to get the message right, but we're not there yet. Like if we're all for freedom of these things, stop trying to segregate. We need to come together. That's the problem. So until Republicans get this down, like a lot of these movements are doing a much more greater disservice to the GOP than they realize. Turning Point being one of them.
Yeah.
I don't agree with them. I don't know if they still do them. I hope they don't. But the more that we segregate and we split off into these little subgroups and there's a movement, what is that promoting? That by virtue of your skin color or your religion, you think differently or that you're special? That's the problem that we face. That's what the left does. The right's been doing it. Alan West doing this is very concerning to me. I'm going to continue. And the other part that really pissed me off is I made a comment on that on his page and he deleted it. Now, I don't know if it was him or somebody that managed his account, but they deleted it. I was like, why are you going to do that? And it wasn't a disrespectful comment. I was basically saying, please don't go this route. You know what you're doing is wrong. Do not play the identity politics. We've seen it enough times in the past. This is a leftist tactic. Don't use it. And he deleted it. So I posted another one. For some reason, it's still up, thank God. But there was a lot of comments, and I didn't even post it yet. I shared it in my stories now. But there was a lot of comments saying, you're playing the black card. Don't do that. A lot of other people were saying the exact same thing. There's a commonality there. White Republican voters don't want to see this because it's not true. But there's going to be a lot of white Republicans that support this because then they're going to feel like, oh, well, I'm standing up for a black man, therefore I'm not racist. It muddies and murkies the waters. All I'm trying to say is if they are censoring you, call them out for what they're censoring you for based upon what you said, which was rooted in conservatism, not race. Now, if you can prove they did it based upon your race, then you got a case. And you can sue them, actually. But if they don't, I mean, what are you doing here? And this is the comment that I made on his page. I said, you take this, and this is the one that I made after he deleted me. Or delete the comment. I said, you take this how you want it. When you delete the comments of people telling you that the tactics you're taking isn't what this country needs, it's a foolish move. This is, now normally, if it's your page, you do what you want. But when you are running for office and you're doing that, that does not make you look good. You have the freedom to do it. I'm not against it. I do it. I don't delete comments. I just ban people. If you bring nothing to the conversation that's productive or at least showcases a different opinion or perspective that doesn't insult me, you're more than welcome to post that. But I ban those trolls. I don't like them. But nothing I said was trolling him. But I said, it's a foolish move. Word will spread that you'll be seen for someone who can't engage in civil discussion. You already deleted mine and many other comments suggesting you not play the identity politics game. If this is the route you wish to pursue, so be it. I backed you in my podcast, but this behavior from someone running for office looks extremely bad.
Let me ask you, do you think black conservatives have it harder than white conservatives?
That's a generalization. I can't even engage in that. Like,
well, I mean, they said metric? Larry Elder was the black face of white supremacy.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I feel like if
are you talking about like a day-to-day life or how they're treated in the MSM?
Just overall. Like if someone is in the public spotlight and they happen to be of a different race, they seem to be treated differently.
Oh yeah,
by
absolutely.
By the left.
Oh yeah.
And to me, that seems racist.
Yeah, I could see. Well,
because if you're saying Larry Elder is the blackface of white supremacy,
that's bullshit.
That's racist.
Yeah, that is very racist, 100%.
I mean, a lot of stuff that they do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're gonna get to more of that. I have some other articles to cover on as far as like actual segregation. Like it's really happening in America now. But we also have to go back and look at the definition of racism. Racism is another buzzword that's been thrown around so much now that it's lost all meaning. People just use racism, Nazism, fascism, and a lot of them don't even understand what the word actually stands for. But these are great buzzwords to hurl as insults towards those we disagree with politically. But if you actually look at the history of the word and the usage and the causation for said word, you will see that the left is embodying a lot of these words. Again, example, fascism. To sit there and rely upon the government to silence those that dissent and disagree is by very definition what fascism actually means. But in some definitions, it was a right-leaning term. The rights, well, I haven't seen the right call for that very much. I've seen the left really embody that in terms of like Walsh talked about that censoring free speech at the hands of big tech or support with the government that is protecting it. That's fascism. The silencing of the dissent. Yeah. Like look on social media now. The government has a role now in silencing those that are spreading misinformation regarding the jab and shit like that. That's fascism.
Yeah.
I cannot support that.
Well, even the Facebook was forced to come out and
we're gonna get to, fuck it, go for it. We'll blend right. No. Well, I have that article.
We don't discuss anything before starting this thing.
No, we really. But I like that. I like the fact that we're on the same sheet of music here. Go ahead.
Oh, Facebook had to come out in court because John Stossel sued them for libel because they were fact checking him, and so they had to say under oath that it's not fact checking, it's opinion.
Yeah. This
is stuff we already knew.
Yeah. But remember, we also talked about that the ones that were funding the fact checkers was Bill Gates. It was a company that was funded by Bill Gates. You can actually go look at this. You can go look it up. Ladies and gentlemen, do your own research. This is not us being conspiracy theorists here.
No.
Go look at the group that's conducting the fact checking and see who is funding that group. It is Bill Gates. Bill Gates is funding the fact checkers to go against those that are against COVID, the vaccine. He has a big role in.
Yeah.
They're controlling the narrative. This is not conspiracy theorism. They are controlling it. Like, it's me here, people. Like, it's me telling you this. I stood against QAnon. I stood against a lot of the conspiracy theorists out there that were pushing bullshit. This is not, I've looked it up personally. It's not bullshit. It's real. Go do your own research and see for yourself. It doesn't take long. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's going to blow your mind. But this, I'm glad you brought that up. But this comes from Breitbart. Facebook's goal is to dodge responsibility for fact checks. In parentheses, there you got Mark Zuckerberg, piece of shit human being. Facebook made a revealing yet unsurprising admission in court this week. Its vaunted third-party fact-checking operation is often nothing more than the elevation of some opinions over others. We've seen this time and time again. Now the only difference is they've openly admitted it. Ladies and gentlemen, how do we fix this? When conservatives take back over, they need to go after big tech hard as hell. Not in a sense of silencing this, but pulling all government protection and opening them up to getting sued, their asses sued off. The government protects big tech. It needs to stop. Because this is what happens when you have government protection. When you have government favoritism and things such as this, no. Shapiro talked about this years ago. We talked about the difference between a publisher and an editor. Which one are you? That's the problem there. And government needs to pull itself out of this. The fact that when conservatives had control and we saw the censoring of Diamond and Silk and stuff like that who testified before Congress and still nothing was done. I mean, come on. This needs to end. This needs to end.
Well, you can almost, relate Alan West's Instagram post to Diamond and Silk. Okay, so you talk about, let's say, black conservatives. Mm-hmm. So they still, you have these companies saying, yeah, let's promote black businesses, let's promote black people.
Oh, that's racist as hell,
yeah.
Instagram does it, yeah. They still do. They've been doing it for years
but
now.
They'll promote them as long as you're a Democrat. We'll promote them as long as you support
100%.
Our agenda.
Yeah. So by virtue of, it's not they're black, it's the fact that they're not leftist. They're not Democrat. Yeah. So that's why Alan West's post, if he's trolling, then say you're trolling. But that post, by and large, if you just read it as it is, that's not trolling. That's acknowledging, or that's trying to use your veteran status and you being black as a matter of like bludgeoning the other side. I can't agree with that.
To me, just because I know him, or not, I don't know
There's
him.
There's a bias.
Yeah.
I figured you. I knew you'd be that way.
Well, I mean,
I knew you'd be that way.
I've heard him speak at my church.
Come on, Josh. Call him out for
so
when he's
I feel
wrong.
like his,
call him out when he's wrong.
His heart's in the right place. So, I mean,
I don't know.
That kind of stuff I'm not going to get
hold on.
too deep in the weeds about.
Is it? Because if he's using this right now, what else would he do?
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to affect.
That scares me.
I don't think it'll affect his policy-making decisions. Like, as governor of Texas, I think he would do the right thing as far as shutting down the border, the illegals crossing into Texas, and just.
But I see a tactic like that, and that needs to be nipped in the bud. Look, ladies and gentlemen, you don't seem to understand. These politicians are populists,
and he's not a politician.
He is.
Up until.
He was an ex-congressman. He was a politician.
Okay.
He knows how the game is played. He's not stupid.
You're right.
You have a bias. Right. You love Houston. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. He's a good guy. I've met him.
Yeah, he is a good guy.
He's a good dude. Well, I mean, how much do you really know somebody when you shook their hand twice? I get that. That's politics.
Only because I've heard him speak at my church several times. So I feel like
I do not think that he's a bad person.
And it's not like a mega church. It's just like a regular.
Yeah. But to say that he's not, but he's a politician. He's playing this.
He's a politician.
This is why it's disappointing, because he's playing the politician game. I don't like that. Let's keep it. Well, genuine.
Men will let you down.
I know. I've let myself down many times. Another thing I saw, and this is why I'm kind of disappointed. Chad Prather. I was reading some of his posts. Somebody asked him about the legalization of weed. And he talked about basically legalizing for medicinal purposes, but we don't need to be like Oklahoma and have a dispensary in every corner. Texas doesn't need that. What?
Yeah.
This is where, I get pissed off with people like Prather. I know Prather. Okay, I've been to his concerts. We've shaken hands. We've done a lot of stuff, but I don't agree with that. This is a boomer GOP stance to take, saying that we don't need a dispensary on every corner. Okay, but we've got liquor stores on every corner, which contributes to more deaths in America. Like, if you really think that people are not smoking weed, like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Even in Dallas, they don't even arrest anymore for I don't even think they charge anymore for low-level marijuana possession.
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
What's the most that's going to happen if you smoke a big bag of weed?
I'm probably going to get the munchies and go to sleep. Dude, we only take Delta 8. Delta 8 is the equivalent of it, and we sell it at Shell Shock CBD. Here's another point.
It's amazing.
So here's the thing. Delta 8 is not regulated.
No.
It's not. We could literally shit in a box, call it Delta 8, and you could buy it and not really sue us for anything, as long as we don't mislabel the package. But look what it's doing. Like, we've exploded at Shell Shock because of Delta 8.
Yeah.
But Delta 8 helps. We have helped so many people. And guess what happens? The government doesn't stick its fingers in, and you've already got a dispensary in every corner. My God. That's why these boomers don't seem to understand what it is they're talking about, because they look at the negative effects. What could this do for this? Like, yeah, but look at the positive effects. And also the baseline of liberty and freedom, the freedom to choose.
Plus, we do third-party testing.
Yeah.
So we put all of our information out there.
Which we don't have to do.
We don't have to do it.
I've talked about this from a libertarian standpoint. We are not required by the federal or state government to publish third-party testing. But we do it anyway because consumers would not purchase from us if we did not have accurate ingredients and tests done on it. Now, if we basically said, it's a generic proprietary blend, you couldn't sue us. I mean, you could, but you'd lose. If we misrepresent it, you could sue us. Mm-hmm. So we either take one of two ways. We post nothing on there and make it very generic, or we post everything. Well, if you as a consumer come on there and say, well, I want to know what's in this, it's in the company's best interest to put what's on that package or what's in that package on the package. So by and large, there is no regulation and business is booming. Nobody's getting hurt. We've not been sued because everything we've done has been on the up and up. That's why federal regulation doesn't work. It's bullshit. It's just more government interventionism. That's when the people say, we should legalize weed and then tax the hell out of it and regulate it. No, you lost me. Mm-hmm. I understand there's going to be taxes. I get that. That's a necessary evil we're always going to have. But regulation does not work. It does not work.
Doesn't work.
It's stupid. It's ignorant, and it's just more government oversight and overreach. We don't need that in America.
Nope.
And I've said this before, go watch Milton Friedman's Freedom to Choose. It's a 10-episode series on YouTube, and he breaks this thing down so well. He talks about 1970s Hong Kong, literally two pot makers, actual pots that you cook in, would be making stuff right next to each other. No licensing needed, nothing. But guess what it was great for? The consumer. Because both people were making similar pots. One would charge less. The other would undercut him. Ultimately, the person that benefits the most is the consumer. You get a cheaper product, a quality product at the lowest cost, most affordable cost. We've seen this repeated over and over and over and over. When government steps in to regulate, they essentially drive the price up. It doesn't work. So, again, when Prather's talking about that we don't need a dispensary in every corner, we've already got it. Mm-hmm. Delta 8 already exists, and it's legal in Texas.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he doesn't know that. But again, and the other thing that pisses me off about this is when you say we don't need a dispensary in every corner. So what you're saying there is that pills work better. Look, I will tell you right now, so many veterans out there are taking our shit now, and they're getting off the opioids that are thrown down their throat. Look, I don't want to put out too much information, but I'm talking to someone that does this for a living, and they've told me, like, this stuff is horrible. Like, don't ever, if you can avoid getting put on meds, don't go on meds.
Yeah.
Figure out alternative methods that are equal to, if not more effective. I've talked to this person for a while now, and I don't want to give up his name because I don't want to freaking dime him out. He's well known. Basically, he's even said, he's big in the medical community. He says, do not take meds if you can avoid it. If you can find alternative methods, non-addictive methods to help treat what you have an issue with. Many veterans smoke weed. Rape victims smoke weed, or they take Delta 8 or eat edibles. Now, this is not going to fix your issues, but neither do the big pharma prescribed pills. They don't fix it either. It just nulls the pain. The only difference is ours has non-addictive properties. Yeah. You won't become addicted to this.
And it's all natural.
And it's all natural. So when Prather says that we don't need a dispensary on every corner, all you're doing is inadvertently supporting, big pharma corporatism. That's all you're doing. You're essentially supporting the bad guy. Because, these evangelicals like, oh, God is good, don't smoke weed. Well, why is your religious viewpoints, why you want to force that into legislation? That makes no sense to me. So a lot of these GOP evangelicals are not pro-liberty. They're just pro-Christianity, which is a direct violation of the Constitution, the freedom to choose. And that Constitution provides you the freedom to believe as you wish to believe. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not a hard concept. It's not. People just don't want to think about this. Because, again, oh, it's bad, so other people shouldn't have it. What gives you the right to dictate that? Nobody. That's not your right to dictate, and certainly not the government's right to dictate. So when people talk about, like, the legalization of drugs, I've changed my mind on a lot of things. That's one of them I changed my mind on. People say, well, I'm a drug dealer. Good for you. Rock on, bro. Make that money. Drugs are what they are. The same as, like, a gun salesman.
I don't know about cocaine. I mean, that could shut your body down pretty hard.
Okay, but so could anything else that But here's the thing. Like Rand Paul talked about, he's like, if they legalize crack today, would you go out and smoke it?
No, I mean, I agree.
Could you, I know you do. I'm just trying to make a point here.
Right.
Do you think if you wanted to, you can go find somebody to buy some crack from?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Why not? Why don't you do it?
Because I don't want to smoke crack.
But it's still here, though, right?
Yeah.
You still have access to it. Nothing's going to change.
It's just, I think the drug laws need to be revamped.
I agree.
Because
I think legalize it all.
Putting these people in jail.
Yeah.
For decades,
yeah,
destroying lives over somebody.
We've gotten it wrong. Yeah. America's gotten it wrong. This is why we need to progress. This is why the
someone's driving and
the types out there like that are pushing this. It's the wrong answer.
I even think you might be a better driver if you're all okay. I don't know. You'd be like super alert. Like
I'm gonna say no to that.
I'm just saying
no to that. I've never done cocaine.
It's like 80 cups of coffee.
Here's the other thing. Like I have never done blow. I have no desire to inject myself with a needle or anything. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I don't. But Delta 8, I don't mind. Delta 8 relaxes me. Yeah. I feel happy on Delta 8. I feel giggly, and then I go to sleep. And sex is amazing. Everything tastes better. Movies are funnier. But when it comes to things outside of that, we live in an age now where you have so much information on your phone. You know what the negative side effects of crack cocaine are. So if you do it, you know what you're putting yourself into. But leave that up to the individual consumer to choose. But people look at this, though, because I have a cop buddy of mine who makes some good points. He talks about, but let's look at the negative side effects if we legalize cocaine, what that would do to the economy as far as, government-funded rehab and shit like that. And that's why, to be pragmatic about it, we're probably never going to legalize crack or anything like that.
Right.
Because then we have so much taxpayer money going into, essentially, the rehabilitating of people. But we already have that.
Yeah.
We already have that.
These government programs are terrible.
Oh, they're garbage. They're garbage.
They
privatize it, though.
They've raised the debt ceiling like 14 times since 2001.
Yeah.
From 2001 to 2000, I think 14.
That's why
something like that.
That's why I think Trump did a good job, though. Actually, didn't he? Actually raised the debt.
Yeah, he raised the debt ceiling
he
too.
Did.
Yeah. I mean,
so Trump was no different than the other one. But I think that's why a business owner. That's why I'm kind of shocked that Trump spent more, though, because as a business owner, he should understand how that works. But then again, so should anybody with like a semblance of common sense or education. Like, I'm pretty sure I couldn't go into Washington, become president or whatever, and then balance the budget. I know that takes a team of people. I know that takes a very educated perspective to have. But I think a commonality that we see in most politicians out there is let's spend. We'll friggin', we'll make the money. It's just, I don't know, man. To go back to the other point, though, it's disappointing to see Prather say that. It's disappointing to see West post this. But again, it does go back to the point that we've made in the past that you're never going to find a politician that you 100% line yourself up with entirely.
It's not going to happen.
But I do feel that the people should call these people out and say, don't do this. This is not what we want representing us. You're better than that. Choose a different method. That's what I think West needs. And the woman that's arguing with me in the comments, she's a part of the Texas GOP. And, she, clearly does not like me. It's just whatever. I don't care. But I think it confuses people sometimes when they see like a comment from someone like me. It's like, wait, well, I thought you were conservative Republicans. Like, I'm actually not. It's like, I vote in term with Republicans. But when it comes to like your viewpoints on legislating your Christianity, I don't agree with. I do not agree. But I believe in it. I agree with it. But I don't think it should be forced on other people according to law. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Did you have anything you wanted to add on that one?
No.
Okay, so go back to the other one. We're talking about Facebook admitting that their fact checkers are opinion based. In a court filing in the defamation case brought by libertarian pundit John Stossel against the tech giant, Facebook said that its fact-checking labels cannot be defamatory because they constitute protected opinion. These guys are snakes.
Yep.
It's similar to a judge telling Google that it claims to be a neutral platform where mere puffery, a marketing gimmick rather than a statement of fact, during the company's legal battle with PragerU. Except in the case of Facebook, the company admitted to the deception itself. Facebook claiming that its fact checks are just opinions shouldn't be surprising. It follows a long-standing pattern of social network, which is to dodge responsibility and pass the buck wherever possible. Well, when you say fact check, that implies that you are checking the facts against an accurate metric that is rooted in fact, when in fact you're not, no pun intended. That's the problem. Like, here's the thing. Like, Hassan Piker and Valsh want to talk about, like, we should censor free speech to prevent misinformation from happening. This is what we're talking about. This is what they're referring to. But what happens to them? Nothing. So realistically, you're censoring free speech with your own opinion. Therefore, it proves why hate speech does not exist. Because one man's hate speech could be another man's religion. It's all based on perspective. That's all it is. Like, I'll even go so far to say, I think it should be perfectly legal to where you don't face any federal charges to scream fire in a theater. Now, the theater can charge you. The state could probably prosecute if they wanted to. Or maybe the theater, but the individual company could because you violated, what they said you caused this, that, and the other. But as far as free speech is free speech. You can say bomb on an airplane, but they're probably going to kick your ass off and ban you from ever flying on that company again, which is their right to do.
Yeah.
And you're going to cause panic. You probably get sued. I don't know. I believe in the freedom of I believe in free speech, but I also believe like on an individual owner's, like say for example, somebody came in here to Shell Shock HQ and they dropped the N-word or whatever racist slur they want. We can tell them, get out. Yeah. You're not welcome here. It's like, well, I have free speech. You do to say whatever you want out there, but in my company, it's according to my own values, and you're going to respect that. That's my freedom of speech. And people always go one direction with it. They never see the opposite direction. Well, I thought you believe in free speech. You do. You can say whatever you want on your own platform as long as it's within their terms of services. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And people automatically say, well, you should be able to say whatever you want. No, not in my house, not on my platform. Yeah. If you're in here using racial slurs, even in my Twitch channel, I'm going to get rid of you. You will adhere to the terms of services, the rules. You still have the free speech to say whatever you want on your own platform. Well, again, according to their terms of services, so realistically, you can't. But in real life, you can just walk out that front door and say whatever you want. That's just the way I feel on that. And that, again, this is not surprising. And in the chat, they're actually making some good points. Like, freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequence. I agree.
Yeah.
You will face consequences for what you say. But that's the other problem is, like, it's so slippery because then you have cancel culture. Say something that's not in line with the leftist ideology and they're going to cancel you. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and where are all these people saying all these horrible things?
I think social media picks up individual things and magnifies it and then portray, and they generalize like, oh, this is a serious issue we have across the board with white supremacy. No, we don't. No, we don't. Like, where is all this white supremacy?
So I say, man, like that's like back. You can go back to the '80s and see the Klan getting together, having meetings out in public, but not now because it's pretty heavily frowned upon. I mean, I think it was heavily frowned upon back then. But
it's funny. Somebody just made a good point in the comments. They talked about a lot of these politicians don't want to back weed because they're all doing blow. There's other people that are espousing against weed that are actually have cocaine problems that I know personally, or they've done blow in the past. Like, interesting. How hypocritical of you.
Yeah. Cocaine is super addictive, so it's
well, they call it like the expensive man's drug, or the rich man's drug, because it's not cheap. I have no desire to go down that road, like none. That stuff scares me because you see, like in Dallas, like I remember when I was a kid, my dad scared me into.
Scared you straight?
Scared me straight in a sense of he would drive me around Houston and show me all the homeless people. He's like, if you do drugs, if you don't apply yourself, if you make stupid decisions, that's where you're going to be. Yeah. And it scared me. I was like, Jesus, like I don't want that. Like he would show me. I mean, he'd go give him money and help him out, but he's like, John, if you ever do that, that's where you're going to wind up. Remember that. And I was like, I've never wanted to do drugs until I started taking Delta 8. And it's like, okay, I love this. This is good stuff. This is good stuff.
I mean, I don't know. Back in my 20s, experimented, with cocaine and
you did cocaine?
In high school. I tried acid a couple times, and it was never really my thing, but it wasn't like
I didn't know that. How did it make you feel?
Just like you drink like 20 cups of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just feel like super awake.
Here's
and very alert.
Like you look at, we break this thing down. Like you look at, say for example, Adderall. Yeah. Adderall is like legal methamphetamine. I've taken Adderall before, and holy shit, I felt so focused. I also felt like it was an appetite suppressant, and that stuff can be very addicting. Like I got way more work done. I was like, but I had to stop. I was like, this is not good. Like this is not good for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't do cocaine now just because I'd be afraid that my heart would explode. Man. I'm like in my mid-40s. So.
But even if you did, like, hey, do whatever you want, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to judge you for it. I mean, I think,
I don't judge anybody that does it right now, but
Adderall isn't like meth, not even close. Yes, it is. You tell me Adderall is not like? Are you freaking kidding me? Bro, that stuff gets me tweaked the hell out.
I've never had Adderall.
Oh, I have.
Like any of that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's freaking. Mm-hmm.
That's why I like the Delta 8.
That's crazy to me.
Delta 8 is just very mellow.
Mm-hmm.
And just trying to relax.
Yeah. These people, they just want to argue. They want
to
find something to argue about.
It's good for your brain. Helps boost memory. Good for your eyes.
Adderall?
No, Delta 8.
Oh, I was like, I've never heard of that.
No, it comes with like a whole list of benefits. Just besides,
these people are kind of like, have you ever done meth? No, but I've also never sucked dick, so I kind of figure I'm not gonna like sucking dick. So I mean, geez, like, what's your point there? Like that's anecdotal.
You never know unless you know.
The effects of what methamphetamines do. I mean, that's not hard to understand, and you can go look this up and see it's very similar. You moron. Have you ever done methamphetamines? Have you ever sucked dick? Well, then how do you know you're not going to like it, John? I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like it. Have you ever eaten dog shit? So how do you know you're not going to like it? You fucking moron. I hate people sometimes. All right, let's move on. Jesus Christ. He's not even a subscriber. I don't care what he says. He doesn't even pay me. Okay, we talked about segregation under the guise of racial equality. And here's how stupid this country is. Colorado elementary school is accused of segregation over its playground event for families of color. A Denver, Colorado elementary school has sparked outrage, and justifiably so, with a segregated playtime for families of color as its playground. At its playground. What does this accomplish? All you're doing is promoting more segregation amongst your own community. So you're discriminating against white people now. Which, again, in today's society is perfectly acceptable because whitey is so bad. The white man has done so much wrong, even though there is nobody alive today, realistically, that owns slaves, that contributed any. Well, I mean, Joe Biden was definitely for, basically the incarcerating, and Kamala Harris incarcerating people of color above anything else in regards to drugs. But good grief. What do you hope? Well, like, what's the end game? What's the outcome of this? All this is, at its core root, honestly, is just showcasing how altruistic and woke you are.
I don't know, man. I'm half waiting for 2 sets of water fountains to show up that say one for white people only.
Isn't it crazy how we've like, reverted back to the 1960s?
Jeez, man.
I never thought.
Like the fact that it doesn't dawn on them, this is families of color playground.
This is promoting minority supremacy is all this is. And here's the thing. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. When white people get fed up and have enough, you're going to lose. They outnumber you so much. The idea of pushing against white people to the point where like you're going after people that have nothing to do with racism. But when you start discriminating against them to this level, they're going to start marching. They're going to start doing what the BLM has done and burning your stuff down. Be careful with that. It's going to happen. You're going to push white people to the point where it's like, okay, you know what? Now you are legitimately discriminating against me, and I'm going to stand against it. This right here at an elementary school? What the hell? A Denver, Colorado, we talked about, okay. The Centennial Elementary School organized the equity event for families of color to gather and play on December 8th. What is this promoting? That you have a commonality with somebody else that's a minority? This is only causing more segregation. That's why when high schools or colleges said we're only going to have a minority-only graduation, you're segregating white people. What do those white children have to do with anything? They've done nothing to you.
It's terrible.
You are discriminating against them. I hope they sue the shit out of the school. And what business does an elementary school have doing this? An elementary school, ladies and gentlemen. So all that tells me is, what are they teaching inside that school? What are they teaching your children, parents? You should be looking into this. If I was somebody that had like an ounce or a lick of common sense and I lived in that area and my child went to that school, I would want to see their curriculum. I was like, what are you teaching my children? I'd pull my kids like, we are not going here. That's insane to me. But critics have hit out at the event, which conservative journalist Christopher Rufo called a racially segregated playtime. Rufo, one of the nation's leading anti-critical race theory activists, told Fox that the event was racism under the guise of equity, and joining a growing number of people on social media calling on the school to terminate the program. Now, you can see the tweets right here. It's from Christopher F. Rufo. His @ is real Chris Rufo on Twitter. And the sign says it's Centennial, just like a little sign out in front of the school where they make all the school announcements and stuff. Centennial Elementary, and it says families of color playground night Wednesday 12/8 4:10 p.m. One Twitter user named Geoffrey Miller wrote, if civil rights activists of the 1950s popped out of a time machine today and saw all this stuff, they would infer that their movement had failed. Martin Luther King would look at this and just be disgusted. Disgusted. Didn't he talk about in his speech about the day where a white kid could play with a black kid, yada, yada, yada? What the hell is this? This is the same as Instagram. Like, to this day, if you go to your stories on Instagram and you go to make a post, and then you click the little smiley face banner and you scroll down, it says share black stories, #BuyBlack, support small businesses. Uber was doing that. You remember that when Uber was doing only black-owned businesses? How is that not discriminatory towards other people? That's exactly what it is. What about Asians? What about if there's a Greek restaurant right down the road from me? That's more nationality based, but you get where I'm going with this. Yeah. How is that not discriminatory? So, and this is how stupid liberals have become. Big tech, all this stuff. To generally support equality, you're going to discriminate against the majority? That's still discrimination. Racism is racism is racism, regardless of which way it comes from. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I really feel like we are living in a world of just, I can't, I don't know. It's nuts to me.
It is nuts.
Good news here. Andrew Cuomo, disgraced New York freaking governor, or was he mayor? No, de Blasio was mayor. Cuomo was governor, or I have that backwards. I don't know. Andrew Cuomo ordered to return millions from pandemic book deal following ethics panel vote. Wow. Crazy stuff there, right? Wow. It's nuts stuff there. American Crisis, you know what I love? If you go on this dude's Instagram page and you will see his followers love them some Cuomo. They will not call him out for anything. This guy is such a disgusting human being. And his followers, we miss you. We need your leadership. He got so many people killed. Are you kidding me with this?
Yeah, who's saying that?
All liberals. Bro. Go, and there's a generality there. Like, you can go on these posts and then click the profiles and look, they all look the same. Like people that make videos for liberals of TikTok. Like, that's how bad these people are. Blue-haired, septum rings, gauged ears.
The same people that have a Beto sticker on their Prius.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I'm telling you, dude. Like, every time I pass somebody with a Beto sticker, I'm just like,
how'd that work out for you?
I know. Yeah.
Disgraced ex-New York Governor Andrew Cuomo will be forced to return the money from the proceeds of his book written during the COVID-19 pandemic after a 12-1 vote by the Joint Commission of Public Ethics. Cuomo will have to return $5.1 million he earned $5.1 million for a book of lies. God. And if you think Democrats are the only ones doing this, you are sadly mistaken. $5.1 million. And people still love this guy. His brother steps down or gets fired from CNN for trying to cover up and blackmail reporters and victims coming forward up against his brother. And people still praise these two. These two are dirtbags. Totally, they are horrible human beings. Disgusting individuals. Like all you feminists and leftists out there that are for women's rights and stuff like that, you should be going after these two. But you're not going to touch it because they're on your side and you won't go near them. Cuomo will have to return $5.1 million earned to the state by next month after the watchdog ethics panel concluded that the governor had violated pledges not to use state resources or government staff to prepare the project. The resolution was drafted by Commissioner David M. McNamara. Cuomo, McNamara said, now lacked the legal authority to engage in outside activity and receive compensation in regard to the book, the New York Post reported. Cuomo's book entitled American Crisis, Leadership Lessons from the COVID-19 Pandemic. Like you're publishing a book in the midst of the pandemic. What?
Got a lot of time on his hands.
Clearly.
Yeah, just stick those people over in the nursing home.
Yeah,
it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Then nobody says, like, why are you writing a book in the middle of a pandemic about leadership lessons in the pandemic? That's like one of those things you do after it's over and you look back and reflect, not during. And you made so many wrong calls. So I'm not really sure. I'm not going to read the book. I have no desire to give that guy my money. But anyway. It was widely criticized when it was released in October 2020 because it seemed as though the Democratic governor was taking credit for sterling leadership while the pandemic was still raging. And I'm glad they I didn't read this article. I'm glad they acknowledged that. He enjoyed much glowing media coverage at the onset of the pandemic, which even President Biden called his work the gold standard of leadership. Biden, who, by the way, is also destroying the economy. He's doing nothing to curb this pandemic. Again, it's a pandemic. It's not a pandemic.
Biden, 2 scoops of dummy.
I like ice cream. The governor then faced several allegations of sexual harassment by former staffers. He resigned in disgrace last August following a report from the state attorney general that concluded that he had sexually harassed at least 11 women from 2013 to 2020. New York Attorney General Lolita James is also investigating Cuomo's book deal along with the FBI and Brooklyn U.S. Attorney's Office. Oh, like I'm going to trust the FBI. That's funny.
Yeah, hard pass.
You gotta love this. U.S. military's restriction on religiously themed dog tags results in lawsuit. Shields of Strength's lawsuit argues military's policy violates First Amendment. But you don't have a First Amendment when you're in the military. You forfeit your rights. I don't know if people understand that. Like, what are you talking about? The Defense Department is facing a federal lawsuit after it decided to block Bible passages from dog tags and military trademarks. Shields of Strength, SOS, a Texas-based business, has been providing dog tags for years, even though DoD policy prohibits the use of its trademark on products that promote religious or other type of messages. The department policy reads, DoD marks may not be licensed for any purpose intended to promote ideological movements, socio-political change, religious beliefs, including non-belief, specific interpretations of morality, and legislative statutory change. According to Tuesday's complaint, the military sent SOS cease and desist letter after the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, MRFF, threatened legal action in 2019. First Liberty Institute, which represents Shields of Strength, claims the military's policy is unconstitutional and that its decision to deny trademark license applications was first arbitrary and capricious. More specifically, it claims the military is violating the First Amendment rights to free speech in addition to its free exercise and establishment of religious clauses. I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah.
If the DoD, or if the military owns that trademark, you trying to use freedom of speech to get access to said trademark, no. Like, that's not free speech. That's basic law. Now, maybe I'm misunderstanding this. I hope I am. But I think Shields of Strength is in the wrong on this one. But again, to try and use the First Amendment, once you join the military, like, you don't have a First Amendment. Like, you forfeit your rights for the most part. I'm not really sure where they're going with this. It's actually kind of concerning, to tell you the truth. I think they're just trying to open it back up to where they can start selling dog tags back to the military with stuff like that because they made a lot of money. I remember going into their shop. It's a nice shop. Don't get me wrong. You can go check out their products. They have great products. They have sterling silver pendants. They have really good stuff. I actually was there. I think they're near Beaumont, Texas, where I'm at, where I was born. But I think they're off the mark on this. It's cruel. It's a cruel insult to our service members to deny them a source of inspiration, hope, and encouragement simply because it contains a religious message. Okay, wait a minute. Now, there's a difference in wanting to wear a religious message versus using, say, for example, the Army logo on your product with a religious message. If the Army says, no, we're not allowing that, that's the Army's right to do so. That's not an infringement on the First Amendment. That's saying that is a trademarked logo that you don't have access to or a right to use without our permission. And here's the thing. Like when I worked with Medals of America, the clothing-based company that I forget where they were out of, they actually were able to use military logos because they had to pay, they had to get approval from the DOD or the individual branches, and they paid a pretty penny for that. But they were authorized to use it. You kind of have to do that. Like with any kind, that's the whole Kyle Rittenhouse with Black Rifle thing. Everybody was freaking out on Black Rifles, like Black Rifle didn't support Rittenhouse. They were basically saying that we never authorized any podcaster to say that we did or did not support Rittenhouse. You don't have authorization to say that about us. You can't make a company-wide announcement without us making the announcement or giving you approval to do so. You're taking individual licensing with our logo and name and using it for your own benefit? Absolutely not. I understand that from a legal principle. What the Army, unless I'm misunderstanding this, Shields of Strength is in the wrong on this one. DOD officials caved to the empty threats of those who make their living by being offended. There's no legal reason for the military to discriminate against Shields of Strength. This is not discrimination. I don't see this as discrimination. I see this as you're not authorized to use our logos. Because here's the thing. The military should be apolitical to include religion. Yeah. There should be no definitive religion for the military. None. Instead, it's all-encompassing for every religion. Now, if you want to wear a dog tag or something that exemplifies your religion without the logo on it of the military branch, that's fine. I wouldn't see an issue with that. That is, the military is big on religion, or it was when I was in. They were big on religion. They respected religion for the most part. And they certainly do a lot more now in regards to, Sikhs wearing beards and their headgear and things such as that. Religious exemptions are going left and right now. They're respecting that. But something like this, I don't see where Shields of Strength is coming from on this one. I think they're taking a hit financially because they're cracking down on stuff like that. The military is not authorizing it, and they're trying to get back in pocket. So I can't really agree with this one. Again, and that's basically saying if I'm understanding this correctly. So in a statement to Fox News, MRFF founder and president Michael Weinstein criticized First Liberty's complaint and argued that SOS was still able to produce dog tags without... Okay, then there you go. If they were still able to produce dog tags without Department of Defense markings, which they are, then you're not being discriminated against. There's no discrimination there. I think this is a false lawsuit. I hope they lose it. This is not right. They should know better. They're just trying to make more money. I get it, but no. Again, here's the thing. If what they're saying is that they're being discriminated against regarding their religion, all they're simply saying is you can't use our military logo on that statement because it's basically saying the Army supports that statement. Would these people feel the same? The Shields of Strength is a Christian company. Would they feel the same way if there were Muslim statements being made with Islam? Yeah, and they put the Army logo. Would you have the same stance? That's why it's all or nothing. Therefore, it should be nothing. The military should not show favor to any political side or any religion. It's all-encompassing. That's why when Sergeant Major of the Army, douchebag, for what his name was, went after Tucker Carlson, he was wrong. He did it in uniform. He was wrong. Yeah, he was 100% wrong. And Tulsi Gabbard, I think, is catching some flack because she did something in uniform too, accusing politicians of trying to start World War III. I never saw the video. I'm paraphrasing here, but she was also wrong. I dealt with this in the military myself, personally. The only reason that fat shaming video I did, or that one that everybody said was fat, the only reason I didn't get crucified is because I wasn't in uniform. I was in a PT shirt that I bought, which was not an official Army PT shirt. It was a private unit one, and I got away with it. But they said if you ever do anything in uniform, you're going to get crucified. So don't do it in uniform. Fair enough. You can say whatever you want, just not in uniform. So when these people are coming out doing this, it's like, ooh, that's a slippery slope. Yeah. Last story of the day. Woke Salvation Army struggles for donations and volunteers. The Salvation Army went woke, and now, at least in certain parts of the country, it's going broke. Naturally, do y'all remember this? When naturally, no one dares to admit that the Salvation Army's outrageous decision to ask its white donors to apologize for being racist might be the cause of its troubles. Instead, the Christian group's problems are blamed on the pandemic, which makes no sense. This is just what the article says. As you'll see below, some of the Salvation Army donation and volunteer programs down compared to last year. Some of you might recall that there was not only a pandemic last year, but that the last year there was no vaccine. I should point out the Salvation Army removed its smear of America and white Americans, but only under the excuse that it was all a misunderstanding. So apparently, on top of being racist, we are all also stupid. Now, this is an opinion-based article. This is from Breitbart. Keep that in mind. This is not the opinions of myself, but it's just an article. Now, I do remember them saying that. I do remember them making a statement that was founded in so much ignorance, and people were like, they caught so much backlash that people, they were like, oh, my bad, we shouldn't have done that. It's like, yeah, you were trying to play the woke game, and you got caught. and then you're going to pay the price fiscally for being stupid. I think that's all this is. Salvation Army's stupid. It's an idiot thing to say. They do a lot of good, don't get me wrong. But when you come out there and you say, if you're white, you should apologize for racism, like, shut up. Like, how far back do we go with that? Like, if that's the case, Muslims should do it. Native Americans should do it. Blacks should do it.
Yeah, I'm not
Every single race.
shit.
Yeah, I'm not apologizing for a damn thing. I didn't do anything wrong.
Nope.
But if that's the way you want to go with it, then every single race should be apologizing, because at some point in history,
who should be apologizing is Joe Biden for that terrible policy that they pushed on people and split up millions of black families because of their terrible policies.
They care so much of kids at the borders,
Jerk.
but not it is what it is.
God, apologize.
That's ridiculous. That's where we're at now.
Like the nerve.
Yeah. Where do you get off?
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
Jeez, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for here today. For us here today at the All American Savage Show studio, or Shell Shock CBD studio. Again, make sure you check out shellshockcbd.com to support the show. We appreciate your love and support. Again, we've just released the hemp tea, 3 different flavors: orange, citrus, mint, and lavender chamomile. We have the Delta 8 vape cartridges. They also have the battery on the website. Again, shellshockcbd.com. These also make great Christmas gifts. And don't forget, we still have tankards, 25% off on the website. Amazing Christmas gifts as well. You got a man in your life that loves to drink? Hey, we got you covered. Or a woman that loves wooden products? We got you covered. shellshockcbd.com. Get him a tankard for Christmas. That's awesome. It's a great gift.
Yeah, these tankards are badass.
They're badass. It's a personalized gift made right here in America. No foreign imports. We started this company some years ago. It didn't work out, but we still have a lot of inventory left.
Yeah.
Great. There's nothing wrong with them. 25% off. We're liquidating them. We're getting rid of them. So again, check us out at shellshockcbd.com. Don't forget to share us. You can check us out on Spotify, SoundCloud, or iTunes, as well as YouTube. Anything to add, my man?
Thanks for listening.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, you stay savage, America.